Anaheim story that doesn't involve Disneyland. When I was in high school, I went to an NWA concert at the Celebrity Theater in Anaheim.
Wow.
And it was something else. That's all I'm going to say. I might have been the only non-gang member in the entire place. And this was like Bloods and Crips world back then. It was freaking wild.
Well, Anaheim has changed a lot.
Easy-E.
Easy-E was there, but Anaheim's changed a lot. I live right by the Angel Stadium. So around the Angel Stadium, they had concerts and venues. Anaheim's always been a little bit of crazy, but a lot of people don't realize that because umbrella of Disneyland. But Disneyland's a freaking little crazy little town to be in.
Wasn't it like maybe like 10 years ago, there was a bunch of riots and all kinds of stuff in Anaheim, right?
I actually know the whole story because this happened in our alley.
Oh, no way.
I grew up in apartments. So what happened is there was a kid and I knew him as a little kid, but then I see him roaming around the neighborhood. So he went from being a skateboarder to a hardcore gangbanger. Anaheim PD was around the time they were starting to get really rowdy about all this gang violence around the area. So they were just like pulling anybody over. And unfortunately, he fit the description. They shot him with a shotgun and the family just kept on going down to the Anaheim PD. And next thing you know, there was all kinds of riots. They were burning down trash cans and we had riots for days. And somehow it was justified, which is what caused, the riots. I didn't get to see the incident of what happened, but apparently Anaheim PD felt that it was justified and they ruled it that way. But a lot of people who just from the area just were not thrilled about that.
So
yeah, it's horrible.
You had two choices. It was either join a gang or become an insurance agent. Why insurance agent?
It's funny you say that because I grew up in a gang neighborhood. The reason why I stayed away from gangs wasn't because insurance, I didn't have no mentor. But the problem was I had problems with the local gang because they didn't really like me and they would always try to beat me up every chance they could. So them hating me was probably the best thing because it allowed me never to kind of go that direction anyways. I was asked to be a part of the gang. I declined. They started, mouthing off to me. I turned around and popped one of them in the mouth. And next thing you know, they all hated me. Yeah. So that was probably one of the biggest reasons why I never joined, just because they did not like me. So there was a couple of times where they were waiting for me and, gave me a little roughing. But,
no serious injury
about it now. I grew up boxing. When my dad was working, me and my older brother were dropped off at the boxing gym next to him. So, with the average gangbanger that kind of swings all wildly, not really stand a chance.
So so boxing skills translate to street fight? Like you can use those? I don't know. I thought there was like a little bit more.
A little bit, usually a lot of gangbangers, especially there's some that can, really defend themselves, probably took a little bit of classes, but the majority of them, they just swing very wildly. And, you can have 2 days training, in boxing and already be able to beat them. Anybody who's just swinging wildly, they're just like, it's like a punching bag for you.
What about weapons?
So they wouldn't let you in the gang. So that's why you became an insurance agent.
Well, connect that. What happened between the two?
Yeah,
the two Victors.
So what happened there is I never really joined the gang because I was always in street fights with them, and I spent a lot of time inside of my home, so just kind of minding my own business. I played a little bit of hockey, so that kept me out of it a little bit. But the teachers really kind of liked me. I just wasn't their best student, but I was likable. And I came across a teacher that was my woodshop teacher, and this guy just really demanded so much respect that he just earned from everybody. And he kind of switched me around a little bit. If I was doing something, he goes, you're drawing graffiti on a piece of paper. Here, let me show you how to use this machine to create this in 3D. Ooh. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that sounds cool. So next thing you know, he had me, working on wood and, chopping up all kinds of stuff, making all kinds of things and, chairs for my mom. And he was just so nice. I just always really respected the guy, and I never really caused any drama. I ended up working for a little shop changing oil. So, and that's where I spent about 6 years of my youth, working at a repair shop. Very quickly, they found out that I was a better talker than a mechanic. So they had me doing more sales and talking to the clients. I got into insurance because of my insurance agent. He kept on wanting to hire me, and I kept on declining because I just knew that one day I was going to have my own repair shop. And he kept on telling me that was not going to happen. Finally, I believed it, and I went and got licensed. But unfortunately, he already had staffed up. But he referred me to a friend of his.
What a jerk!
I ended up being with the guy for like 11 years, and it was super awesome. And that's how I ended up becoming an insurance guy. I just ended up really, I guess I was just really good at it.
So the guy constantly was trying to get you. By the time he beat it into you that like this was the thing to do, he's like, nah, yeah, I don't have room for you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly how it happened. But it all worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, he's the catalyst that created the movement for him to become one anyway.
Well, yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is, he was pissed off. He's like, God damn it, Victor. He goes, didn't I tell you that to come work for me? He goes, I told you last week. He goes, I just hired this new person, and here you are with your freaking license now. I can't afford it. He's like, and I'm like, okay, well, let me know when something's available. He's like, hang on, I'm gonna make a phone. So he calls one of his friends that just bought an agency. He's like, I got this kid. I really, really like him. I think you should interview. And he's like, he goes, you doing anything right now? I'm like, no. He goes, you're going in for an interview. I'm like, but I'm not dressed for an interview. He's like, doesn't matter. Just go down there. So I went down there smelling like freaking oil because I had just gotten out of work, and I sat down for an interview, and I got the job there and then.
We just want to say thank you, and that hit that like button, the subscribe button, especially if you want to learn more on how your agency can dominate in any market. Hit those buttons, and I will see you next time.